And now, entering the ring, Jason Hughes, Dustin Dougie Campbell, and Jason Papa White, the Triple Threat, here on the Strong Booking Podcast.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Strong Booking. I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, McGuire Insurance Agency. Give them a call at 606-886-0008 for all your insurance needs. I'm going to hand it over to Jason for a minute while I get set up here.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank everybody for tuning in this week. I know there's a lot going on right now, and we appreciate everybody tuning in with us this week. As long as we can be here, we're going to be here, and we hope we put on a good product. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot that went on this week in the world of wrestling, so I'm going to turn it back over to Dougie and get this thing going.
Just one second here. I'm having some issues. We did have a lot of good stuff go on this week, though. AEW was off the rails. Okay, we're good now. All right, guys. Hey, Tyler. Thanks for tuning in, man.
What's up, Tyler?
Yeah, I talked to Tyler earlier today.
Yeah, I seen you, you guys commenting back and forth for a minute there. I slept half the day. Ain't gonna lie about it. We had a long week, though. Sure.
Yes, I'm a little busy here.
Yep. But I just want to go ahead and start the topics off tonight. You know, we got some weird times in wrestling with everything being no crowds and stuff. It's kind of just been, I don't know, watching it is definitely strange to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's far. Like I watched, what was it? WWE had SmackDown, I think, the week before this week without fans, and it was kind of awkward to watch. But like there were some good points. You know, when Cena and the Fiend or Bray Wyatt came out, it was nice. A good promo, got me kind of pumped for Mania. But this week, you know, I watched AEW, and they had, you know, no fans there either, but they had Cody come out at first, cut the good promo at the beginning, explaining, you know, what's going on and how they were going to try to work around it, and it was a really good promo. And the fact that they had their the wrestlers out there in the crowd, you know, you had the heels on one side, faces on the other, and it kind of gave a little, you know, you got feedback from it, like they were into it, like you had, you know, like MJF and Shawn Spears were like betting each match or something, you know, the way they played it out, and you had the faces on the other side cheering on everybody, and it, you know, it was nice. I mean, they're trying to work around it. I know it's hard for them as it is for everybody else right now, but as far as the show, it was a great. You had two debuts. You had Brody Lee, who's the Exalted One, and you had Matt Hardy at the end. You know, we're going to replace Nick Jackson in the Blood and Guts whenever they decide to have that. I know Tony Khan came out and they postponed it for right now. So I know this week they already announced that it's going to be Jericho. He's going to have face-to-face confrontation with Matt Hardy. Yeah, and we'll see where that goes.
Well, they're actually wrestling.
Yeah. Are they going to wrestle?
Yeah,
I didn't know.
First ever match. I guess they've never wrestled each other, I don't think. From what it said first ever match.
I thought it was Havoc.
No, it's Cody Rhodes and
Cody.
Cody
and Jimmy Havoc was another announced match.
Yep. But that's the one thing I wanted to talk about was, you know, AEW. They really took advantage of it, and they really put out the best product I think you could with the no crowd by putting the wrestlers on each side of the ring like that. You know, it was really entertaining to see those guys out there, you know, just jabbering back and forth, and like you said, even betting on matches and stuff, and the way they done the heels on one side and the faces on the other side to keep them, you know, still keep the characters intact and stuff. But
I think WWE was at a disadvantage in that, though. They had to go first. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
They had to go first. There was no blueprint, nothing. They just, you know, winged it. And then AEW kind of had a chance to lay back, see what they thought was going to work and what didn't. I mean, they come out to the better. I mean, sometimes it's better to go, you know, last on something.
Yeah, because you're right. I mean, they had SmackDown first last week.
Yep.
And then you had Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
You know, they kind of done the same thing. which it wasn't a bad
They
episode.
didn't know. I mean,
But like you said, they didn't know. Then AEW came out Wednesday, and AEW had an advantage anyway because we all kind of knew, the episode was the Exalted one was going to debut, so everybody was going to tune into that for sure. And then then you get Matt Hardy too, so that was a nice surprise. And then, but then WWE did have a chance to retaliate with SmackDown, but I'm not sure. To be honest, I didn't watch much of SmackDown, so I'm not sure how it went. Did you watch any of it?
I didn't watch any of SmackDown. I watched a little bit of Raw. The only thing about Raw that I didn't like was it wasn't like a whole show. They did a little segment here, and then they showed an old match, and then they would do a little segment here and an old match. It wasn't an entire show.
The thing with Raw too is it's 3 hours long. That's a lot of filler time for especially a show with no crowd, and also I would say they're trying to keep as much interaction down as possible. So that's probably why they're showing older wrestling matches like that, because they don't want to put everybody in the building or everybody in the ring. So that comes to another point. That news came out today that they're taping the rest of their shows up until they're even taping Mania. So I think it's another reason they want to go ahead and get these. They'll probably tape them within, I'd say, 2 days.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll probably have everything taped in 2 days. I would imagine, maybe 3 at the most, and they'll send everybody home. So I think that's why we're getting a recorded Mania. Do I like the idea? Not really, but I mean it is what it is.
Yeah, I think the thing I shared earlier on the page was I think they're doing 2 episodes of Raw tomorrow, 2 SmackDowns on Tuesday, and then they start with Mania, I think, on Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, so basically.
And then, they're recording, 4 days. They're going to record at least 2 weeks worth of stuff. So, it's keeping spoilers down. That's the thing. I don't, normal shows, Raw and SmackDown, a spoiler comes out, I'm all right with that. But like an actual pay-per-view, especially WrestleMania, it's going to get leaked out what happens.
Well, like we're talking about, Brock's up in Quebec, stuck at the time being. I don't know if he'll stay stuck or if he'll make it. But
does he want to be unstuck?
Yeah, does he want to be?
There's a lot.
Kevin, producer Kevin had a good idea. Won't they run some little promos and stuff? Have him by satellite, and
Brock's a no-nonsense type
or have
person.
Paul Heyman come out and say, something, and then they could even further the match with Drew all the way up until SummerSlam. Give this time to.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see Brock. I just don't.
I mean, if he's up in Quebec and they're not letting people travel.
Yeah, he wouldn't have. Brock takes care of Brock first and foremost. He always has. What's best for him is what he does, and that's smart. That's why he's where he's at. So I just don't see him putting himself in a situation like that myself.
Yeah, like Tyler said, get ready for the spoilers because they're going to be there.
Oh, it'll be like it was in the early '90s.
Yeah.
Like I remember back then, they taped, a month ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And you knew everything.
Yeah, you knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, you knew everything.
Yeah. So there's nothing you can really do about that.
I've
stay off the internet.
I've seen them pre-tape after pay-per-views too back then. Like they would tape some, and some of it would be after pay-per-view stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you would, it'd already be taped as a new champion.
Yeah.
So it's already out. You knew.
Well, it's kind of like NWA. They tape every week. All their shows are taped. MLW, they're taped. So it's not like
That's why MLW still has crowds at their shows. Like last night,
that's right.
There was a crowd there.
And they still advertising MJF. And
did you notice Injustice? The guy, the white guy in Injustice was coughing and had a sore throat and couldn't talk.
Really?
Yeah, he looked sick.
Lord have mercy.
I don't want to put that out there on nobody, but
that's a couple weeks ago. I don't know when it was taped, but I'm imagining it was a couple weeks ago.
Pre-corona.
I don't know. I still haven't figured out their taping schedule. I don't know if they've taped months in advance already or what's going down.
I think they're about a month behind.
Because MJF, like you said, he's still being advertised.
I seen his. they were talking about him, and it was like his not no compete, but his last match was recorded. I know of about a month ago.
Yeah, they're about a month behind because last week they were talking about Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
So I'm guessing they're a month
right.
behind, maybe a little further back. I don't know.
Seems like about a month and a half.
Yeah,
behind.
You're about right. I would say that's a good timeline.
So, but back to AEW, with their situation, it don't seem like I'm not seeing anything about them going to do any taping. It seems like they're going to go still with their live shows.
I think
I don't know where they doing their live shows.
the Daily, in Jacksonville at the Daily Place. It's where they had, I think, Fighter Fest.
I mean, it's all going to come to an end.
There. So,
I mean, it's all going to come to an end. Promise you.
That's what I imagine. I mean, if there's eventually
every state will do a shelter in place before this is over.
Yep.
And then that's it.
And then there won't be no wrestling.
Yeah.
So,
what?
We're just buying time here, really.
In a way, it could be a time for some of them to, step back and punt, regroup.
I think it's a good thing. I think it'd be the best thing for WWE, to be honest. We're just
in a way.
After Mania, shut it down and come back when the time's right.
I mean,
like you said, they're not going to have a choice.
Yeah, kind of reset with some better product.
Unless they all want to shelter in place at the Performance Center.
They wouldn't even have to have better product because, there's an old saying, you don't know what you got until it's gone.
The heart yearns for what it misses.
So, I mean, if WWE wasn't on TV for, let's say, a month, 2 months, it didn't matter what they put out. When they come back, we'd all be chomping at the bits to see it. So
just got to let it all play out. It might come out for the best in the end. I don't know.
Yeah. Like you said, they're not going to have a choice. So, but they did postpone AEW did postpone the Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems like it's leaning towards like they're changing and switching everything up in AEW as well, and they might go to taping.
Well, yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, I know eventually when they lay the law down, they have to do it. But as far as right now, they're going to stay open because I know Tony Khan said he gave all of his wrestlers permission if they felt like it was unsafe for them to be out and all this stuff, they could stay home and wouldn't be punished for it. Wouldn't hold it against them or anything as far as future, I guess, pushes or anything of that nature. He's not going to punish anybody for wanting to make sure they're safe. So I know we got this week for sure. It's happening Wednesday because they've already announced a couple matches this week.
I know. Did you guys see that where Joey Janela had that match? The social distancing match.
I posted that on her.
Yeah.
That's a joke. It
was
should have never been done.
Happened. Jim Cornette.
Disrespectful to everybody.
Jim Cornette was commenting on it, and I agree.
I agree with Jim Cornette on that.
One time I agree with Jim Cornette,
Not everything's a joke.
No. I would almost, if I was AEW, I would be like, I'd be mad.
Is he under contract with them? Is that how they
I don't know if it's full contract.
Yeah, I think he has the Jimmy Havoc.
Yeah, he has like the
they basically go do what they want to do, and when they want to put them on TV, they put them on TV.
Yeah, they shouldn't want to put that guy on TV.
Right, yeah, they should. Yeah, basically just.
It's one thing to expose the business of wrestling. It's another thing to expose it and make a joke out of something at the same time.
Exactly,
like that.
Right.
It was wrong on multiple levels. I think. Who am I?
I didn't even watch it. Well, I watched like the first minute of it.
Me too.
Then when I seen what it was, I was like, God, this is a joke.
Yeah, Jason sent it to us earlier in our group message, and I watched a little bit of it, and then I seen on Facebook today, people were commenting on it, and
I watched maybe just a few seconds of it.
To be honest, I even forgot about it until I seen Jim Cornette.
I haven't seen what Jim said about it.
Oh, he was.
Oh, I can only imagine.
He was not happy.
Yeah,
I wouldn't either, though. That's why
it's not like Kenny Omega wrestling a blow-up doll. Was different. That was he exposes the business, and plus it makes fun of something that's not funny. I mean,
the whole independent company and the other wrestler that was part of it, everybody that was part of that should be ashamed of themselves, to be honest.
I don't know who the other guy was.
I don't either, but
I'm sure he was just doing it hoping to what it did. I mean, put a little light on him,
Yep. But it was a joke.
Not all rubs are good.
But back to some WWE, with everything that's going on, we still got Mania, so we got to talk about, all the feuds that's going on. And one thing that I've seen that I like is Monday night, the way Taker came out. He was kind of like a little bit out of character. He wasn't the same, just
The whole world's out of character.
yeah, boring Taker. With walking down the ring. He came out with just a toboggan on, and with his tights pulled down, and he didn't walk out. He just came out there with a purpose, and he was like completely out of character, and I enjoyed that.
I don't know, man. Without the audience, God, so much is lost.
It is
So much
but
is lost in translation right there.
I'm just taking it with
I know.
with
You gotta,
what I can.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I read a thing. They said
It's
he kind of
hard for
broke
me to
character
watch
on
it.
that.
Yeah, it is for me
it
too. I
really
ain't gonna
is.
lie. I didn't watch the whole thing.
It's hard for me to watch it because there's just
I went back and watched certain parts that I wanted to see. Basically,
Yeah.
that's it.
to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but when I watch it, it's just kind of a depressing thing. I mean, just to see it. I mean, I'm glad it's there for what it is, but
Yeah.
man, it's not. I don't know what you do.
And the biggest thing to me, like, I feel bad, like you guys were saying, for Drew McIntyre, somebody that's worked his way all the way back up to the, the golden spot, and now it's getting, it's getting tarnished by
It'll never be
a tragedy.
what it was.
There's nothing, it's not his fault or anybody else. It's a tragedy, but
They all talk about walking out on Mania in front of 80,000
Yeah.
people and grabbing that belt. That's what they live for.
that's what I'm saying.
That's
That's
took
that's
from
the
him.
moment,
Even if he gets that belt, it's not. I mean, it's not that. It's
Then
not
you
going
go
to be the
back to
same.
even the Taker and AJ match. I was looking forward to that and just the nostalgia in it.
I
and
was
stuff.
looking forward to a lot of that on that card. I
Yeah.
thought that was a
Randy
really
and
good
Edge.
card.
Randy and Edge.
Yes.
Yeah.
John Cena and the Fiend. I
Yeah, what
mean,
is Edge and Randy's last man standing? Is that what their match
Now I
is?
guess
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
So
There's just so much there that it would have been a.
We go back to, like I said, I was really looking forward to that Undertaker and AJ match. That was probably one of my high points for Mania, just because I love both of them.
Yeah.
And it's just gotten like dummied down now because, like you said, there's no crowd and there's no you don't even feel like the build-up's even there. It kind of still is there, but it would be so much better seeing Undertaker come out like that with a crowd around him.
Yeah,
People in the crowd being like,
the Undertaker entrance.
yeah.
It's a crowd. I mean, you got to have to get that.
Well, I don't think he's going to do that entrance. Well,
You
he
just-
can't. But
I mean, I don't know.
Tyler's asked us what we thought about the Stone Cold promo, and it was what it was. It was it was funny just because of him and
He needs a crowd too.
Byron
though.
Saxton. They made it entertaining for people watching on TV, but it didn't feel right without a crowd. No, it was.
It's like they're all standing there naked. You know what I'm saying? You can see everything, and
Yeah.
you don't want to see everything.
No.
I mean, not in wrestling.
So, but like you even said, the Edge promo. It was like he was talking to you straight to your soul.
Oh yeah.
Because it was
I didn't.
so.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I didn't try to make eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was different.
You're right, Teddy. Teddy says the no crowds hurt seals the most because they can't get any heat. There's no fans there to react. And you're right. Like, how do you be a heel with nobody to boo you?
Exactly.
It's weird.
You know,
It's just
some of them
strange
were still
times.
trying to work the crowd.
Yeah, it's because that's all they know.
That's all you know. I
they're
mean,
trained that way. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just.
Trained.
I mean,
That's
exactly.
He trained for 10 years, 15 years to work the
Yeah.
crowd. And
because that's like one of the main keys about making it is being able to interact with the crowd. If you're not over one way or the other with the crowd, you're not going to be anything really. I mean, you either got to be a face or a heel. There's not really that. There's no in between. Well, I guess that's what they call like a jobber. I guess you could say somebody that comes out and. But
Enhancement talent.
in my
Yeah.
opinion, I just wish they would have canceled WrestleMania altogether. Just let it be.
or postpone it till later.
But like Kevin,
I don't know,
producer
bro.
Kevin was, me and him were talking earlier about that, and I guess there's, a bunch of insurance to that, and they would be out all kinds of money if they canceled it for good. So I understand.
Well,
I don't know. It's just weird.
it still may get canceled. I don't know. You just don't know.
Teddy's right. He's talking about MJF still managed to be a good heel with no crowd, but AEW, like we
They had a
said,
crowd.
they went a different approach with bringing the wrestlers out.
They had a skeleton crowd, more or less.
Yeah, and it was, and they made it they did make it interesting. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed that episode of AEW a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I can't.
I mean,
It shows the creativity they got there.
Yeah, they're just creative. And
You know.
I still think that goes back to what we talked about. You got wrestlers
Yeah.
over everything, and they know what's
Yeah. Young
what
wrestlers.
you need. Young
Young
smart
wrestlers got
wrestlers
the-
that's all they do. Like,
Yeah.
I watch a lot of, like, you've got me turned on to it, that being the elite. I mean, that's all they do. Those guys have wrestled from the time, like Cody always says all the time, I didn't go to college, I didn't do nothing. He goes, he grew up in it. His dad done it, his brother done
Yeah.
it. You know, that's all they know.
That's all
so
he knows.
I mean, it's,
He's going to be useless in the new world.
yeah, I mean,
What's he going to do for us? He ain't going to
Shit.
be.
Producer Kevin actually asked this question. He said, after all this is over, you know, hopefully, you think there could be a redo of a lot of the WrestleMania matches on SummerSlam?
I don't know. It's like the whole redo of the year so far. It's been rough.
There's so many questions and so many
Nobody knows
unanswerable
nothing.
questions.
Not just in wrestling, but in the whole world in general.
but yeah, like in history, though, you do get a lot of rematches from Mania at SummerSlam for the most part. I mean, it's,
Yeah, you're supposed to give him a backlash, remember?
yeah, but,
The
you
in
know,
between
it's-
pay per view.
Yeah.
but
Who knows?
Who knows?
Like Teddy said, Matt's debut ended up being better with no crowd,
I mean,
and it was a pretty cool little debut, you know. And that's another thing me and you were talking about was AEW had such a good show, they blew NXT out of the water.
yeah, it
Like,
was,
ratings this week, it was just like not even close. And so, but also everybody knew the Exalted one was coming, so you know, a lot of people were tuning in for that, for sure. Nobody really knew about Matt, but we kind of knew Matt was. You know,
I was still one of those people that thought Matt at the time was going to be the Exalted One. They kind of started, at first thought he was going
I
to be,
wish
and
he
then,
was.
and they were
I
kinda
I
pushing it
still
off.
like
Still
him
wish.
better.
hey, but Brody Lee's promo, the way he talked, you know, WWE never let him talk that way.
He done good.
And I thought, you know,
No.
in general, I mean, I think he's a good fit.
That's
You still
my
have to
only
give
knock on Brody Lee is he doesn't look the part. I just can't buy into him looking the part as Exalted One.
What's an exalted one look like?
I don't know. Just to me, it don't look like Brody Lee. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion.
That you're entitled to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
do
just
what
don't
you
think,
want.
like-
I don't. Yeah.
I think the Exalted One should have been a little bit more like.
Matt Hardy looking.
They kinda gave you that with his outfit.
Kevin Sullivan
No,
looking.
definitely not Kevin Sullivan.
Who's the
He-
exalted one look like?
I
Chris
think it should
Benoit?
have been like somebody like Christopher Daniels or somebody looking a little bit just more. Because Brody Lee to me comes off a little bit too like grungy.
A henchman.
Yeah. A
Like
little
the
too
muscle
grungy.
behind the exalted
exactly.
one.
He don't come
see
out
it.
as
yeah.
a leader.
He's too big to be. You know,
Not
yeah.
really too big, just as the beard, the long, scraggly hair. He just don't look like
You're
a
wanting
clean.
like a Charles Manson looking guy to slide out there.
No.
He
I
had
know
the
what
man
you-
bun.
you-
It
you
wasn't
want
all
like
frizzy.
I want like somebody like Triple H, like clean suit.
That would have been a twist.
That would have been a twist, right?
Yeah, that would have been a heel.
I'm just
turn.
talking about somebody, like a clean suit, just clean, cleaned up. But nah.
Okay.
Is
Yeah, I
what
know
it
what you're
is.
saying.
He did have the Matt Hardy jacket and hood on for the most part. I mean, it looked just
Yeah.
like what Hardy,
Yeah.
close to what Hardy was wearing. So I don't know if that was a swerve.
I don't know.
I'm glad they at least he cleaned up a little bit. He used to look like just the dirtiest person when he wrestled in WWE. I hated that so much. I don't know why. All right, let's see here. Is there anything you guys want to talk about? From this week? Oh, they're talking about Gronk. I forgot about Gronk being on SmackDown.
Who?
Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
I don't.
I don't even.
It don't
Yeah, he's a nut.
Yeah, it don't really mean nothing to me.
I mean, yeah.
That's just. Yeah, see, Tyler Spradlin said it right. He said he's a follower, not a leader.
Who?
Talking about Luke Harper. He just don't have that leader quality to me. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the way that WWE is portrayed him. That's the way they want you to,
Yeah, maybe that's what's going on. I'm still
give him
like,
time.
yeah,
Who knows? I
who
mean,
knows? That's right.
this time next year, there might not even be any wrestling. We might be fighting in a Thunderdome for a bologna sandwich. I don't know.
Thunderdome. This is the Thunderdome. You're in it. I'm going to go ahead and take this chance to thank our sponsor again, McGuire's Insurance Agency. You can give them a call at 606-886-0008. And to be quite honest, I'm tired of talking about all the negativity going on right now. So I'm just going to go straight to the pillar to post and talk. We're going to talk some old school, just kind of lighten up the mood a little bit. And if you guys got anything you want to talk about, send us comments and we'll talk about it. But the first thing on my list, I'm really on a big Taker kick this week, so I wanted to ask you guys, what's your favorite Taker character? He's been in quite a few different things in his 30 years, so.
That was the Ministry. Taker was which that was me being faction-oriented guy. I love the Ministry. I mean, that was when I was real big into wrestling, though. That was during Monday Night, the wars and stuff, so. I love the Ministry of Darkness Taker. That darker version, like cult leader,
You consider that different than just a regular Undertaker?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
He had followers.
Because he had and his character was a little bit more, that's when he opened up a little more. He was talking to me. He was like, his mic skill was a little different than from the original Taker, we got beforehand.
And I guess in the end, he was
a character change.
In the end of it too, he really wasn't the leader. When at the end, it was the higher power was Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was kind of like Vince controlling him, but he was controlling everybody else. It's kind of.
Well, he even came out with a different look. You can consider that. His look was different and everything. What was your favorite Taker?
Probably just an Undertaker, just when he was by himself.
Yep.
When he had his second title run, when he took on Batista.
Okay, yeah, you're talking about when he came back as
just as I guess you called his second.
My favorite one would be, he came out as American Badass gimmick, but then he went he branched off from that a little bit more. He even went to like just a Dead Man Inc.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different. He had the Dead Man theme, which I thought was my favorite Undertaker theme. So that was probably my favorite gimmick. It was after he cut his hair, had the short hair, and it was just about right before he went back to the Undertaker. The true.
I liked his first one too.
The very first one.
Yeah, when he come out at Survivor Series.
Yeah. I figured that's what I figured you would like the most.
Well, I didn't know,
But she kind of like
the mean Mark Calloway in WCW was good with the heart punch. I liked it.
Yeah.
When he was with the Skyscrapers was good. I liked that with Dan Spivey.
Tyler Spradlin asked, "What's our predictions for Mania?" Well, I think Edge will go over Randy.
That's probably a given.
Yeah, I don't know. I
don't know. I mean, I think it.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Edge will go over Randy, but I think AJ will go over Taker.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't tell you about.
I was all for Drew going over Brock. I thought that was going to happen, but now like Jason made a good point. That match might not even happen.
Yeah,
we don't know for a fact.
I don't see that one happening.
No, I don't
But
either.
Of all of them, I don't see that.
I think they could postpone that one for SummerSlam just because, like he said, Brock's out for Brock, and he wants that.
Yeah.
He wants fans being there buying his merch along with.
I think
the
they'll postpone
attraction
the whole show, but I don't know. I don't know.
The WrestleMania?
Yeah.
So you still think they might postpone it and not do the recording?
Yeah, just like you was talking about for insurance purposes.
Yeah.
Once he decided to move it to Performance Center, that'll cover his insurance. If he can prove that's a no-go, then he's good. He just had to make one move. You know what I'm saying?
You're
to
right.
cover that.
I wish they would postpone it. I think it would be better off just postponing it and
I would rather
out.
see a Madison Square Garden in June, like they were saying myself.
Or even, I don't care if they wait till. I don't care if they cancel it and just go to Summer. Make SummerSlam the big event this year. I'd rather just not have it.
I don't know about that.
Well,
Mania is the first one they ever had.
Well, I know, but I don't even know if they could have it in June with the way things are going. New York's one of the
You
They
know,
were one of the first
They're one
ones
of the
to
worst
shut
places
down.
right now
So
for this, so
yeah, but
it could all be over by June though.
yeah,
You don't know.
first
We just-
one hit, first one recovers.
Yeah, so
You know.
we really don't know.
But you know, if they do it with no crowd, unless we do a watch along, I probably won't watch it.
No, I won't.
that's my what like recording.
Which we did say that it's going to be free on Fox.
That's I saw that earlier. Fox is probably going to
Well, that's
show
nice.
Mania.
So
If
See,
it,
that's
especially
good.
where
If
it's
they do
recorded,
that,
you know, that's the.
that's good.
yeah.
I read that Fox was going to broadcast it live. You know, both days, Saturday and Sunday.
That's
So
good.
you know, it's
It's hard not to watch them,
especially if it's
Yeah.
free. You know,
especially
Which-
for quarantine and got.
that was part of it though. Like I seen some more. I was reading. It was a whole big article I was reading today on ESPN, WWE, Fox, and WWE. You know, tonight ESPN showing WrestleMania 30. I know they're showing.
Yeah,
ESPN's going to start showing Mania as what was voted by fans as like the greatest Manias of all time. They're working their way down the list. So,
ESPN is?
yeah,
yeah.
7:00 tonight. WrestleMania 30 is supposed to be. You know, starts at 7, goes off probably around 11.
It's bad when ESPN runs out of stuff to show. They
So
start
yeah,
showing
they had.
Manias.
But that I saw that pop up earlier when I was watching. I was just flipping through the channels, and it popped up on the breaking news thing on the bottom that ESPN was. That's not what was advertised to show on ESPN. It was just something that kind of come up
Yeah.
here in the last few hours. But as far as 7:00 tonight,
That's good.
You know, WrestleMania 30.
I think
and I
at
believe-
this point we just got to play all the stuff coming up in the next, the few events coming up by year.
It's
Like
all
it's changing every day.
it's all
so we don't
subject to
know.
change.
It's all subject to change, and we might not be able to do a show next week. We don't know. I mean, you just don't know at this point.
Well, I did get totally off topic, but as far as us go, as work goes, I did see right before we came on that curbside restaurants and deliveries will still be going forward. So
So we're still able
we
to
still
do
be
that
able to
all week.
work this week. So that's
Good.
a good thing. I did see that before it came on.
People need to work during this. I understand it's bad.
Well, we
but-
seen like 20 minutes before we came on, we seen that they were like shutting down. We thought they were going to shut down everything but grocery stores and pharmacies and gas stations, but then we seen like 2 minutes later that more things like bookstores and stuff were going to be open. So luckily, we're still going to be able to do the curbside assistance here at the restaurant. But since we're on the topic of we was on the topic of our favorite taker, I just want to ask you guys, what's been your favorite, or just some that you can remember a gimmick change that you just really enjoyed? Like, a lot of wrestlers have changed gimmicks over the years, and there's been some big changes. You've had your Canes go from a dentist to Kane, stuff like that. But there's been there's been some that's just been like John Cena. He was the Doctor of Thugonomics, and he went to the Never Give Up John Cena.
The Army John.
Army John, yeah. So what would be some of your guys' most memorable or favorite, gimmick changes?
I would say the biggest one would probably be Ringmaster to Stone Cold, wouldn't it?
That would be the biggest one, yeah. If that one pops in my head as
What
the
about
biggest
Hogan to Hollywood
Oh
Hogan?
gosh, that's so good too.
one.
That's,
That's
right there with it. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't see.
Nobody saw that
Yeah.
coming. That was a
Yeah,
big change.
That was a good one. Sure was.
then you had another one that really he transformed himself was Triple H. Back when he was Hunter Hearst.
Paula. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one too.
Yeah, it was a good switch up, and somebody that's really been able to reinvent themselves over the years, especially, throughout the 90s and then all the way in the 2000s was Sting.
Oh, I'm glad. I thought you was gonna go with somebody else.
Who did you think I was going to go
I,
with?
was-
Say it.
He's waiting on me to
I
say.
thought you was gonna say Jericho. I mean,
He was waiting on me to say it.
No.
I mean,
Well, that's too obvious. That's the obvious.
what'd you say,
one.
Sting?
I said Sting.
It's a good
yeah.
one too. Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
he
when he
always-
went with the Crow Sting,
Went to the Crow Sting.
that was good.
And,
I would like to see him come back
You
one
can even
time.
credit that he went to the NWO Sting. That was or the Wolfpack
Wolfpack.
Sting. So it was kind of.
He had
We need a Surfer Sting one
in
time.
TNA.
Yeah, that would be cool.
He had two different versions of himself in TNA. The
Mm-hmm.
Main Event Mafia Sting. He wore the suit, no face paint,
Yep.
sunglasses, and then he had the insane clown Sting where he did the Joker type face paint.
Yep.
Made himself look crazy.
So Sting was always really good at.
Yeah, it was a good.
And you know, like I've seen an interview with Sting, and over here, like the Joker Sting, it was okay. Like we liked it and stuff. Like most people weren't on board with it, but like overseas, people ate it up. He said like he would go overseas and do stuff, and people were loving it. Clay Jamerson just sent me a message and said, "I don't think we're social distancing. I guess we're sitting too close to each other right now."
Yeah, well, you know, objects on film appear closer than they are.
That's right.
That's 10 pounds too.
That's 10 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, also, well, heck, we work with each other.
Yeah,
daily, so we're not going to be social distancing for a while. We just have to trust each other to stay.
I want to talk about something we haven't even brought up that we've all watched this week.
What?
The Dark Side of the Ring
Yeah.
with
I didn't want-
Benoit.
Yeah, I was
I
going to bring
mean-
that up.
I didn't want to talk about that.
You didn't want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Gets him tore up.
I mean, it was. It's
definitely
emotional.
For sure.
It is. I mean, I don't.
Especially, like, just...
Yeah, I remember
Him and Eddie.
watching the news around the clock when it first happened. You know, with Benoit. I remember when it happened. You know, when they announced that Eddie had died. But then you get the
Background stories on
you
it.
hear Vicky talk about Chris showing up at her house and all of that. Sad.
Or,
Yeah.
Chavo.
So sad.
Chavo finding Eddie
Yeah.
and Eddie dying in his arms. I mean, that got me, like, there was so much going on. Like I told you, I was in a glass case of emotions during the whole thing. Like, one second you were kind of pumped about what they were talking about, and the next second somebody's dying. And
Yeah, Mike said, no, Dougie won't talk about Benoit. It's a different case. We're talking about Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, I mean, that was part one, too. Part one didn't really get into the murders.
No.
It was a build-up. It was just talking about Eddie's death and how that related to Benoit.
Yep.
And,
Well, basically, it was just a build-up to how Eddie and, Chris became.
they all were together.
How they became such good friends and stuff.
It looks like from just watching the video that, it took its toll on Benoit.
Yeah, like that.
Does that make it okay? No.
To be honest, I never
Does
realized.
that make him a better person? No.
No.
This
Did he
makes
do
it an emotional story.
Did he do it?
Did he do what?
Or did Kevin Sullivan do it?
No. Benoit did that because he was a bad person.
Yeah, you're right.
He was an awful human being. And even Jericho says, he tricked us all.
Yep.
Yeah, he said if you
Jericho
lined
did
100
say-
people up against the wall and told me if I could pick one out that was going to kill his family, I couldn't do it.
He tricked us
Then,
all.
yeah,
he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, you're right, though. I didn't realize, well, I mean, nobody, I guess, besides
And
people.
it sounded like Sullivan was a bad person, too. I mean, not to that extent,
Oh, yeah, Sullivan.
but
apparently he's
the
a
sad
terrible
person of the whole story is Nancy.
Yeah,
Poor
right.
Nancy suffered, sounds like her whole life.
Yeah, she went from one crazy guy
Was
to
she a
another.
good person? I don't know.
But it sounded
Probably
like,
not.
yeah, well, like you said, Benoit had us all fooled. Because apparently, they made it sound like at the beginning that he was a good dude. And he had a little bit of a, attitude. But it seemed like he was a good dad and stuff, but I don't know.
But they always, plus they kind of laid the groundwork to even from the beginning, he wasn't exactly right. Like when Chris was, when Jericho was talking about him doing the 500 squats because he thought he messed up.
Yeah.
Is that normal behavior?
No, not really.
I don't think so.
And like
but,
they went in the good,
no.
good background. Jericho was talking about it too during that that's all Benoit ever done, and the damage that was on, like even that doctor said the damage that was on his brain after the autopsy or whatever, but his first paycheck was wrestling, his last paycheck was wrestling. I mean, he never done the bumps and stuff he took over time.
Like Tyler even said, Benoit had diaries from Eddie's death to then that they was writing letters to Eddie. So I never really realized it, and I don't think most people, none of us would, besides people that were really knew Benoit, like how much it affected him when Eddie died. Because I didn't realize it until I watched
Death affects everybody different.
Yeah,
I've known people that's lost people, and they never was the same. They let it, they never was the same person after that.
Yeah.
And then it's just what it is.
It's almost like it was like him losing a lifelong partner, like type thing. It was like how he took it.
People react different.
Huh?
People react different
That's
to
what I'm saying.
death.
Yeah, you're right.
It's,
But not just that. People react different to death for sure. But the way he reacted to Eddie's death, it seemed like that was like the one person.
Extreme case.
Yeah, he like him and Eddie shared a connection that he shared with nobody else. Like it was that strong.
They're you'll never know the truth.
So you'll never know the truth.
They're both gone. There could have been more to it. Who knows?
But just speaking of Dark Side of the Ring now, it's going to be a really good season. I'm pretty excited for all the episodes they got coming out.
Vice does a good job on whatever they do.
Yeah,
they're
Vice is
really
really good.
When does
a fine job.
I'm not sure when does the second
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I
It's
wasn't
a
for sure
2-hour
when
premiere. I'd say they'll show
the
one
rest
that-
of this one.
Well, they'll show the one that they showed that they already posted on YouTube, and then they'll show the other hour of it. I'd say because it's a 2-hour premiere.
Yeah.
So, but there's some farther up on the season. There's some other good.
Oh, I've seen a lot. I've seen New Jack and all those
Yeah, the
guys are
New
going to be on
Jack
there. You're going
one.
to see a lot of.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't wait to watch the New Jack
I
one.
can't either, man. It's
I've
so
watched so many videos of New Jack, shoot interviews, matches. Why he's not in prison, I don't know.
You're right.
He does not.
I never
need
knew
to
much
be
about him, to
working.
be honest, until you started talking about him.
He has more problems than
Who even tell you about him? Like, he don't care.
No.
You got me turned on. I started watching some stuff
Yeah.
on him. I mean, he's
Well, he said it on many interviews.
He's got
I was
4
going to kill him.
Well, he has the tattoo. That's the one thing that popped up on me. I watched Behind the Mat or Beyond the Mat
Yeah.
this week. He has tattoo on his chest for 4 justified homicides. He goes, I had the right to kill. I mean, he's killed people. 4 of them that we know of.
Well, I've
but,
seen.
it's just.
I've seen New Jack in person multiple times and watched him wrestle. So he ain't even a wrestler.
Yeah.
New Jack just never. Clothesline, big right hand, not a wrestler. Just
beating on people.
he was a
basically.
character.
Yeah.
He could cut a promo, that was really good if in the right spot.
He stabbed a guy like 9
He
times.
done good in the South. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He could get heat in the South. That's what he was good for.
Definitely get a bunch of heat.
That's what he could
Stabbing
do.
people in the ring.
Yeah.
You can
Look
definitely
at that
heat
mass
from
transit incident if you want to see some wild stuff.
I've seen that one. Yeah, I watched that one. That
Or
was-
the was it Indian Joe? Was that what the guy's name was?
Yeah, the Indian Joe one.
Yeah.
The Mass Transit, that was the one where the kid had never even wrestled.
No, well that was that kid's
Yeah,
fault.
it was kid's fault too, though. He was
But
big.
the other ones was New Jack's fault.
No, yeah. Somebody asked us, I think it was Tyler asked us, what's the best heel to face turn we've ever seen.
Heel to
It
face.
says best heel face turn, so I guess you could go either way with it. But Hogan by far
Hogan's,
is
yeah.
the best ever.
That was great.
And heck, I don't know. There's been so many.
It's hard to pick a good one. That one's so good, it's kind of hard to even get
It
anything
really
close
is.
to that.
Big Show's probably the best at it.
He just
Wait till
really
he got-
every day.
Every day.
He wakes up different.
Yeah.
Well, Jericho the same way. One day everybody's cheering him, and the next day he just turns
Jericho
by just a
is-
change of a facial
He
expression.
transcends it right now.
But-
He's venturing into like the popularity of a Stone Cold type character.
One that
Back
I
in the
remember a
90s,
lot.
He's way up there.
Hey, I tell you what I love. This is out the topic, but I was watching AEW as he was coming out. You know how the crowd's been singing the song. Well, Sammy started
I
singing.
watched it.
That was great.
Yeah, and he didn't even say. I don't know if he didn't know the words or he acted like he didn't, but it was good.
It was good. It was just.
It's the little things that it's good.
But definitely, you're right, Chris Jericho. He's transitioning to that. He's star, superstar.
Yeah.
Just took him longer than the others. I don't know though. Chris Jericho's always seemed like a star to me. What do you think? Even in WWE, man, he was God.
He's
He didn't even start like
been a
WCW.
star, man.
I know, but I would consider him on Stone Cold level 10 years ago, at least 5 years ago. No,
Well,
probably 10.
what are you considering a Stone Cold level? Like how much you
In
liked
wrestling?
him? How much you liked him?
No, just
Or
in
how
wrestling.
how much merch he sells and all of that? I mean,
I definitely would say he sold just as much merch as Stone Cold. Right at it. Couldn't be too far off, I wouldn't imagine.
The one thing I
no,
get,
bro.
yeah,
I don't know
Was
either.
you? I mean,
but
but
when
it's not even like merch sales or stuff for me. It's just how he can, because he is one of my all-time favorites. But like how he can adjust to every generation that he's wrestled in.
Yeah, he's
it
definitely
ain't
done
got
that.
nothing
He's
to do
been
with
working
merch.
for
He
that.
can
well,
he can make himself work no matter how old he's getting into what generation he's
But
wrestling.
every time
in.
he comes out or took some
in
time
the
off, came
business,
back.
that's how they determine it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about how many titles you won. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No,
like-
It's not about how
that.
good you can work.
Yeah.
When they talk about the biggest champion of all time, they're going strictly on draws. Who sold the most?
Yeah.
Who had the biggest pay-per-view buys? And when Austin was at his peak, they were hitting 6 and 7s. Now they're lucky to hit a 1. You see what I'm saying? I remember
But do you hold that solely to Stone Cold, or just
No,
to base
well,
that on like fans just
that I
kind
don't
of
know.
deteriorating
I
over
don't
the
know.
years?
I don't know. Because I remember I've watched wrestling my whole life.
Yeah.
And I remember when nobody watched wrestling. People made fun of you more or less, like. And then about the same time that when Austin hit his stride,
Mm-hmm.
and then the NWO hit their stride, it went through the roof.
Yeah.
Everybody had Stone Cold shirts.
And I'm not knocking Stone Cold because I think he definitely had a part to do with that.
Oh,
big
he
part.
done all of that.
He had a big
Promise you.
part of that. But I also think wrestling just in a part of itself took a big boom during that time as well, with the
Well,
NWO.
Exactly.
And you
But
just
to
had
take a
everything.
big boom, someone has to
Someone
start
has
it.
to start it. Yeah.
Was it
You're
Hogan and NWO or Austin? I don't know.
It was.
But
I think
it was
just
one
a
of them.
mixture.
It was one of them.
You could go ahead and say it was just a mixture of both.
I mean, it
Of
could have
all
been.
that. But,
Yeah,
you
could
got
have
the
been.
Raw,
You're right.
Generation X, that whole
Well,
time frame.
yeah,
those
that
groups,
kind of yeah.
They everyone had
The Rock hit his stride a little bit.
a little bit later.
Yeah.
But
For a minute there, it was Austin. He was,
was Austin.
packing it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was just going on the as far as stardom, Chris Jericho, it's not right when he hit WWE, but not long after, he's been a star ever since.
Well, they tried to
First
make him
undisputed.
into a superstar.
I mean,
Yeah.
I thought he
When
was.
when he won the title by beating both of them at one
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
they were trying to make him
Yeah.
a superstar. Yeah.
And like Jason said, he's always been able to reinvent himself.
Well, I liked him in WCW before. Like I know he
Yeah,
cut that good
yeah.
promo when he debuted in WWE, but like the 1,004 holds. I mean, just he had his Jericho security, and they had those handwritten shirts. I mean,
Rufus.
dude, yeah.
When he had a Rufus
I
with him.
mean,
You're right.
he's made himself over, and then like I liked one of his interviews I watched, and the reasoning he went to AEW instead of going back to WWE. He said he wanted to help build a company to make wrestling continue on,
Yeah.
and like knows his name was. I know part of that is he knows his name was big, and that was a big sign for him. But he's putting, I know of his money into it as well, as long as the other guys are as well. But he just wants to build it up with these younger guys. And I think that's why he's taking like guys like Sammy and guys like that under his wing right now. Like,
Definitely Sammy because
yes,
Sammy is
just
he's
try
the
to.
future.
Well, he wasn't going. He was pretty well, staled out in WWE. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
No.
I just
I mean, they just wasn't going to.
That character just wouldn't work.
They wasn't going to let him do no more.
he left and went straight to New Japan. Started the Painmaker gimmick, and it was great. Like just that hardcore side of him, which he wrestled there before, and he probably had matches like that over there before that
Oh,
nobody's
yeah.
ever
he
seen.
wrestled back
Yeah, I
then
mean, I know.
with him and
Well,
we
him and
seen
Eddie
on the-
wrestled, yeah. I mean,
we've seen
when
on
Eddie
the-
was Black Tiger, is that what his or who wore the mask over there, or something like that?
Yeah, we seen
It
on
was
that.
Black Tiger or something. Eddie
And
wrestled
Jericho
in.
was,
Yeah,
what was Jericho?
Lion-
Lionheart.
Or Lionheart.
He was Lionheart in WCW too.
Yeah. I thought, you find out something new every day. I thought it was cool that he took he really liked what Benoit and Eddie was doing over New Japan because Benoit was some kind of animal character over there too.
Pegasus Kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pegasus Kid. You know, he was trying to like be them, so that's why he would come up with the line art. So I thought that was pretty neat. Somebody asked us a question up here. Thought. What Tyler's probably said, I'd say all 12 Big Show turns. I'd say there's more than 12.
Yeah.
He turned 2 or 3 times in a
His,
night.
yeah, his gimmick is a turn, ain't it?
Yeah, he definitely. I mean, I guess they kind of used that
Towards the end,
the
yeah.
end. It was kind of a gimmick, really. You never knew what Big
That
Show
was
was
his
going to do,
gimmick.
so that was kind of cool. Anybody got any questions for us? We're getting down to the last 10 minutes here. I just want to answer some questions. You guys got anything you want to talk about?
I wanted to ask Jason what he thought. Did you watch MLW?
Mm-hmm.
I
A
didn't
little
watch
bit today.
MLW,
What'd you-
I ain't gonna lie. So I ain't
A
got
little
nothing.
bit today.
I watched a lot of wrestling today. I
watched
woke
a
up
little
early
bit.
and started, but I thought it was a pretty good show. I don't know why I don't watch it every week like you do, so it's kind of like, is the Rip Von Erich? Is he just ripping off the Von Erich
Yeah,
name?
that's just a joke.
He's
they
just
do.
joking,
Yeah,
dressing like him, acting like okay.
Yeah.
I just
You
thought it
with
was
a filthy Tom Lawler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
which they got him a
Filthy
new
Tom brought him out to make fun of.
okay, which
Yeah.
I know they've got them a new part of the Filthy family. I guess King Mo joined them at the end of the show, and
There was a long segment there I thought was strange in the
Yeah.
middle of that show when they were cooking and stuff.
yeah, the LA Park and La Parka doing
That
the
was-
cooking. I fast forwarded through that.
That
I'm
was
like,
so
I never watched.
strange.
Turned into wrestling for a cooking show,
I thought I'd went onto a commercial and couldn't
No.
get out of it.
but like I like the
Guess
Von Erich.
was Killer Cross on there this week?
Yes, he was. That's and he's advertised for next week as well. I think
That's
when
why,
it's going
yeah,
off.
they're
That's
so-
that
that
he's
shows you.
officially signed with WWE for almost 3 weeks now.
I know.
Who
So that
knows?
show, I don't know what's going on
Who
there.
knows?
It's
but
weird.
They're so far behind on that show. I don't know.
Yeah.
they had who is it? They advertised Brian Pillman's wrestling next week. I think was.
Yeah.
I like his
He's wrestling
the white dude
white
from
guy from
Injustice.
Injustice.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Coffee.
they
That'd
tried
be
to
fun.
attack him this week and cut his hair.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cut his mullet.
yeah. So don't cut my hair. Don't cut my hair.
You know, that's one thing I don't understand is they're like, Brian Pillman Jr., he's a 2-time Rookie of the Year.
How are you 2-time
How
rookie
are
of the
you
year?
a 2-time Rookie of the Year? I mean, they got Rookie of the Year last year, then Rookie of the Year this year. From PWI, which is, what, Dave Meltzer, ain't it?
Yeah.
How do you get?
How
How does that happen? I don't know.
I don't know.
Tyler asked us how Ring of Honor is going to be able to do through all this with no crowds. Like they're barely survive with crowds. So I don't.
That's one thing that I don't know a lot about.
I
I
think
never
right
really
now.
got in the Ring of Honor.
I used to, but
Yeah.
there ain't nothing to get into it. And,
I think it's hurting a lot of, like, if you can support, like, I see a lot of people we follow and people we became friends with since we started this podcast, you know, independent wrestlers.
yeah.
If you can support them, I guess, in any way, like buying a shirt or something like that, you know, that helps them out because a lot of their dates, every day I see them on there, this show's canceled, this show's canceled, you know. These guys are trying to make it, but right now, with being able not to do crowds and stuff, I mean, they can't put these shows on.
It's not going to hurt your independent promotions. It's going to hurt them a little bit because they're not going to be making money. It's going to hurt the wrestlers wrestling in that independent motion because they're not going to be making any money. So they're the ones affected the most. Would be the wrestlers. So you're right. I think you do. If you somebody out there that you really enjoy watching or in the independents, try to support them by if you can buy a shirt.
Yeah, I mean, me personally have made pretty good friends with, I know, at least 10, 12 that I had no idea who they were when
Yeah.
we started this. Were able to message and become friends and stuff, but I just try to do what I can to support them. If I can afford to buy a shirt off of them, something,
Yeah.
you know, because I know
Like,
that's
well,
how.
they're not going to be wrestling because there's no crowds to wrestle for, and they're not. Those type of shows aren't going to do a no crowd show because
You probably
they
get
don't
paid
record
at
them.
most any promotions by the gate. Ever how many's there, that might determine
Yeah, that's
how much
true,
you get
too,
paid.
so.
Like, I watched a lot of stuff on YouTube, and those guys say some nights you get paid $25 up to maybe $100, according to what gate comes in. So I mean, you know, that's what they're working for. You know, they're putting their body and, you know, life.
There's a lot of, you know, like your independent wrestlers too. They have side jobs, so hopefully, you know, they get to keep, you know, working those side jobs unless they get laid off from them as well. But it's definitely gonna affect everybody, you know, economy wise. You know, me and Jason are fortunate right now, but everybody else is getting affected a little bit. And I don't really know.
I mean, it's just we're taking it, like I said, one day at a time. We're hoping maybe, you know, to be able to do the watch along here on for Mania if it goes on as planned. Do a watch along for.
When is it? 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah,
April,
3rd and 4th, I think.
April 3rd and 4th. So yeah, I mean, if all goes, you know, if
All goes well and we can be here,
everything's-
we'll do it like we did the Rumble show. We'll do a 2-part watch along. We can do the first, I guess, where they're breaking it up, where they're doing like 4 matches each night or something like that. So
That's how they're doing it.
I think it's
This
4 or
is
5
how
matches each night. Yeah, I shared a thing what the original card was supposed to be. No, first night I think you getting Brock and Drew was on the first night.
Is it gonna be 2 hours long each night? Or longer?
2.5, something like that.
2.5.
But like, you got a couple, and then the second night was the Fiend and John Cena was on Sunday. I knew that. Edge and Orton were on the second night. So, but that's to be determined too. We don't know how that's going to plan out. They might end up showing the whole thing on one night. So, just have to wait and see.
I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. You know, it's kind of been a weird week, a weird episode tonight. 'Cause you really don't know what's going on as far as, you know, it's day by day basis on wrestling, and without no crowds, it's hard to watch. Like you said, you know, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I liked watching AEW this week, but I can't watch WWE with no crowd. It's just not been the same. They said it's sad one night of Mania isn't as long as one night of Raw. You're right, Tyler. I can't remember the last time I watched a full episode of Raw.
I recorded it this week just to see what it was like with no crowd. And
Did you watch a full episode?
no. I watched the 3 or 4 segments they had and fast forwarded through the matches that I'd already seen, so there wasn't no point in watching no pay-per-view matches I'd already seen. So, I just fast forwarded. I didn't record SmackDown this week. I just kind of read the results on it, and I guess the biggest draw on that was Gronk debuting. And honestly, from the video I watched of it, wasn't nothing worth watching.
I could care less about Gronk debuting in SmackDown.
Gronk Mania.
Gronk Mania. Yeah, I guess he's the host of Mania.
Yeah, he's hosting Mania.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm. That's a joke. He needs to go back to football. Go sign down there in Tampa.
It's possible.
That is possible. You never know about old Gronk. God, what if he did? Bill Belichick, he'd probably stroke out. That's another thing. There ain't no sports on. I've been lost all week, really. I don't know what to do. Biggest news I got all week was Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers. You know, a couple other trades in the NFL and stuff. Had Hopkins go to the Cardinals. That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about that. My Dolphins, they signed like every defensive player there was. That was kind of exciting.
I just got the update from ESPN that Mania just kicked off on there. So if anybody's out there has nothing to watch tonight, WrestleMania 30 is on ESPN right now.
WrestleMania.
So
I'm going to go ahead and
Stay in.
thank our sponsor, McGuire Insurance Agency. Give them a call at 606-886-0008. I want to also thank Pressburg Pick and Poke and High Tech Signs and Graphics.
Yep.
They
Thank you, Rick.
make our shirts, our banners, and they allow us to come in here and do our shows. So thank you, Rick, and I'm going to go ahead and say you've been booked.
Stay in, stay safe,
Stay
and God
in.
bless you.
Yes. Prayers for everybody that's affected by this right now.